whatever is.
But you guys are like always trying to hustle.
I just want to have a fair game and
What?
gamble.
I'm not big into hustling people.
Let's see.
Maybe later.
Hustle is on. Check it.
It's true.
Ivey limps in on the button.
Double.
But I had to go past.
Juan flops the best hand.
13.
Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that.
Patrick's gonna float Dwan's bet of 1,300. And so is Phil Ivey. Tom Dwan does not look pleased. Third ace on the turn. Dwan still with the best hand. He's checked it over to Patrick. Patrick bets 3,500. And Ivey calls yet again. He's got 7 high. His plan, no doubt, to steal this pot.
Sorry if I flush. Neither, it doesn't matter. Neither.
Flash the dark.
Okay.
Best hand out of the way, and now it's down to who wants it more. Patrick won't bluff at it twice. And here's the opportunity Ivey was hoping for. He bets 10,000 with 7 high. Patrick doesn't appear convinced that Ivey's got him beat here despite having only queen high. It's amazing that Antonius is even thinking about this.
Just take it. Take it.
Wow.
Patrick doesn't trust his instincts, and Phil gets away with one.
Another 40 ball.
I'm on for double, dude.
I give you a $500 free roll if you guess what I have. My hat. $500,000 free roll. $500.
$500.
You get a 1,000 free roll if you guess what I have.
Rough guess, Phil.
Dwan asking for a count from Phil Ivey, who's re-raised him with 10-8 suited. Dwan reaching for the big chips, and he'll re-raise to 29-6.
Taitaa kipeä juttu. Pientä naljailua.
Dwan has just 7-8 offsuit here. Little does Phil know it, but he's got the best hand, and he's got Dwan dominated.
Oho.
Ivey re-raises to 84 and change, and Dwan insta-folds.
I wish we have a time bank.
Yeah, same.
They got to back it up with cash.
Pocket nines for Antonius. He's going to raise to 2,000. And Benjamin wakes up with pocket tens. He'll re-raise to 7,000.
So much for a feeling out period.
Yeah.
I mean, right off the bat. Look at this. The pot's already up to... Ivey's reaching for extra chips. He's raising another 18,000 with 6 high.
Those big placards are 25,000. And Ivey with a 6-4. We've seen this before.
I guess you could say Phil Ivey is setting a tone. You guys want to play big? Welcome to my office.
Benjamin makes the call.
And look at David Benjamin. I mean, he's got a pair of 10s, and Phil Ivey has just juiced up this pot. He just calls it 53,000 in that pot.
9 Jack King on the flop.
What a terrible flop for Benjamin. And Antonius is thinking what might have been. He would have flopped a set. But Benjamin, look, he's looking at 2 big overcards. Makes sense that Ivey could have some of that.
37,000 is the bet by Phil Ivey.
So right off the bat, Benjamin is tested, and I just don't see how he calls here. I mean, you've got to give Phil Ivey credit for a big hand. We know he has but a 6 high.
And he's going to fold it, and that 6 high is going to be good enough, and there's $90,000 in our first pot.
Barry's going to step out here and raise to 5,500 with Queen 10 offsuit. Phil Ivey suspects something. Raises Barry. We have another air Ivey hand. Ivey suspects that Barry was out of line, and he's right. But it looks like Lex, who's got a decent hand, suspects that they're both out of line, and he's right. Look at them. They look like suspects. Nice play by Lex. 51-6.
How much more are you playing?
I think Phil Ivey's posturing here, 10, asking Lex how much he has.
140 something? 130, 140 more?
Doesn't want Barry to know he raised him with air.
I'm all in.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Phil Ivey just went all in with a 5-deuce offsuit. I don't believe it.
I thought you were just angry at Barry.
I am.
That is one of the great bluffs
Nice.
in the history of high-stakes poker. What a move.
On the flop, pair of jacks and a 7. Ivey's still the leader with that Queen 8 suited. 3 hearts out there for him. 80,000 is the bet.
And that's a pretty standard poker play, Barry. The big stack on a flop like this in an unraised pot wants to keep making tester bets. Try to find out if the little guy connected in any way. And with that kind of flop, it looks unlikely. So Phil Ivey says, okay, I've got Queen High, but I'll take a stab at it. And look at this! Re-raised by Jackson.
Wow. To 170,000.
Now, I like the play because Paul Jackson is willing to get into a poker match here. He's not going to just sit around and wait to flop the nuts.
This may be the line in the sand here for Paul Jackson.
Phil Ivey, though, if he really thinks deeply about this, might be asking himself, well, now wait a minute. If this guy had a jack in his hand, would he re-raise me here? Probably not. So what the heck is he doing?
So he's thinking it, and the question is, will he overthink it?
A re-raise!
Well, there you are. Re-raises to $320,000. It's right back in the face of Paul Jackson.
We are watching some poker here, Barry. Both guys with nothing. Phil Ivey's nothing is a little bit better than Paul Jackson's, but nobody connected with that flop, and here they are, raise, re-raise, re-raise.
Nice.
Oh my goodness, Jackson is re-raising. What the heck is going on here?
Re-raising.
Another $150,000, now it's up to $470.
Almost 1 million chips in this pot now.
This is incredible.
And you can almost hear the wheels turning in the head of Phil Ivey. Is this for real?
Right, and I'm thinking Phil Ivey has got to fold here.
Yeah.
I mean, is his opponent going to raise him twice with nothing? After Phil Ivey has shown strength?
What do you have left? 360. 380. 360, 380.
380,000 is what Jackson finally arrives at.
Barry, let's put this in perspective. We're looking at a 1 million chip pot, and both players have nothing. We are looking at two guys bluffing with nothing, both of them. Who's going to blink?
With 2 cards to come. I don't think he's going to blink.
I don't see how he can possibly continue in this hand. Everything Paul Jackson has done.
All in.
What?
That's why we're here and they're there.
Absolutely astonishing poker.
Not much point drinking, is there?
It's a good lay down, isn't it?
He said it was a good lay down, and he's going to do just that. And Phil Ivey is the guy who did not blink.
Watching this hand was like witnessing great art. It's absurd and wonderful at the same time. It's just mind-blowing what we just witnessed from Phil Ivey.